Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
What about our Quasar podcast, The Quantum Zone?
What about our Quasar podcast?
Wendell Vaughn, the first Earthman ever appointed protector of the universe. Bonded to the energy-transforming quantum bands that are both weapons and symbols of his station, he fights an ongoing battle to defend all life in the universe from cosmic evil as Quasar. Welcome back to another episode of The Quantum Zone. It's been a while, kids.
What, Phil?
The Quantum Zone. The Quasar podcast. No one else doing a Quasar podcast. Only we're Quasar crazy enough. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, the master of the Quantum Zone. It is.
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
And unfortunately, Mr. Matt Kona could not join us again, but we wish him well. And this time, we'll be covering Starmasters 1 through 3 and Cosmic Powers Unlimited 4 and 5. All right, so.
Mine's back there. What's back?
Other side.
Back there. There we go.
There you go. Yes, my Marvel Legends Quasar figure, which, you know what annoys me? Remember when these first came out and we're like, oh man, we got to order now. We got to order so we can get them because they're not in stores. I swear, half the stores I go in now, he's there.
They have them.
Yeah. I'm just like, all the time and blood, sweat, and tears. And we're like, we got to order it as soon as it comes out because or else going to sell out. Now they're everywhere.
Yeah. But we got it. That's what matters.
Yes,
right?
That's true. That is true. All right. Well, since we are doing the Quantum Zone, did you watch Quantum Leap this week?
Not yet.
That'll
happen probably tomorrow. We'll do that because I didn't get back until later last night, and then we just haven't had a chance. So
he leaps back further than he's ever leapt before. I believe it's 1692 Salem witch trials.
That's right. I read about that. Good episode.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Very cool. I'm looking forward to it. So we're coming up to the midpoint of the season, right?
I believe next week is the mid-season finale. They'll take their break till after the holidays. Yeah.
So 10 more episodes after the holidays.
How many did we get so far here? I'll look this up. But
I think we've had 7, maybe. So 6 or 7.
I was trying to remember how many they are getting this season. Looks like. Oh yeah, looks like next week will be 8, and then oh man, all right. So next week will be 8, and then we might only get 5 more episodes.
Oh really?
I mean, unless we get news. I mean, because I only see a list here up to 13. So.
Oh, okay. I was hoping we'd get more. Well, maybe we will. I don't know. We'll keep our fingers crossed for friend of the show, Ben Robb, who we don't have a drop from.
Yes. But, I mean, maybe I wonder if maybe they had to shorten the season too because of the strike.
That's a very good point. Yeah, the writer's strike was going on for quite a while. So
if we get a season 3, maybe it'll be longer.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Very cool.
I love every movie or TV show. It's like, when's it coming out? And you have to preface it anymore by it's coming, but it's delayed because of the strike.
Yeah, exactly.
Which again, no fault of the writers or anyone else, but it's damn companies.
Yep. Pay your people.
Yes. Oh, Lilith and I were talking to this team. They were, unfortunately, I don't think they reached their Kickstarter, but they were doing a Batman fan film. But it was a bunch of actual Hollywood stunt people and stuff. And it's the strikes affect, and benefits and all that. That affects them too because they actually get injured doing that stuff. It's we need healthcare.
Yep, and I mean they need and you have all the craftsmen that build sets. I mean, it's a lot more than just the writers and the actors. It's the
Mm-hmm.
producers and the entire ecosystem around, that
Exactly.
stuff getting made, which I'm glad the strike's over, but it should never have happened because they should just pay their people, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And then I think the other sticking point was AI. What do we do
Yeah,
with AI now? What
yeah,
can we do, can't do? Yes.
exactly.
And I'm sorry, I don't want to offend any of our listeners. I said the word, so
Batman, my favorite character.
Nice.
Ray's like, that's all right, that's all right. No, Ray, I don't want to offend you.
Well, so this is we're recording this on December 8th. We typically talk about new comics on our other show that we do.
Yes, Sector 2814, the Green Lantern podcast. Yes.
That's right. So good stuff this week.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me refresh myself. Let me look at my list here. Of course. Oh yeah, Spider-Man's revving up for a big gang war. Because once every decade we have to have a gang war. Daredevil's been pretty good. Yes. Fantastic Four's been interesting because like the whole new series. I mean, it's up to number 14 now. But when I find the name of the writer when he started this series, like it was based on this premise where like everyone's mad at the Fantastic Four because of something that happened, and then a couple issues in, they reveal that to like say was it an invasion by the negative zone? It was something where like Reed Richards had to send like a whole block of New York, including the Baxter building with like his children,
Mm-hmm.
into the future. So like a year into the future. So it's like, okay, everyone's going to be supposedly okay a year into the future, but meanwhile everyone's like, well, wait a minute, you just sent our families a year into the future.
Yeah.
To anyone else, it's like, wait a minute. So for a year, our families are gone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. And like they were traveling the country for a while, and he had some like interesting like Twilight Zone twist and stuff. Like there was like a town that were like stuff that like times they seemed to stand still and stuff. There was a bunch of like different Twilight Zone esque issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty good.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Have you been reading anything new or?
Let's see. Mostly, Kickstarter books, but of course, Green Lantern.
Yes.
We love us our Green Lantern book, which is Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams and Zermanico. And who's I'm sorry, the writer again is who, Phil?
Oh, see, Will loves this. I mean, God, I'm hooked on this.
This is Jeremy Adams, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Friend of the show, yes.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Green Lantern War Journal, with Philip Kennedy Johnson. Yep, it's a good book. We've got
Alan Scott.
We also got a Jeremy Adams on the Flash, the Golden Age Flash.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Jay Garrick. I'm trying to think what else.
I mean, it's always late, but Justice Society of America with Alan Scott and Jay Garrick, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to show this off because while I love Hal Jordan, you love Kyle Rayner. So
yes,
the Kyle Rayner compendium did come out recently, so that was pretty cool. Rereading some of those things. On the Marvel side, I don't know that I'm reading anything from Marvel at this point. It's just
oh my,
the Green Lantern ongoing, and yeah, I hadn't realized that, but for growing up a Marvel guy, it's kind of weird for me to not. Let's see what I've got here. Oh, Transformers. That's not Marvel. But
sorry. Have you been enjoying that? Yeah, that is a good book.
Yeah, that's about it, I think. I may be getting the Miracle Man reprints from Marvel.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think that's about it. And of course, like I said, bunch of Kickstarter books. I
Yeah.
have a stack that I need to open for the last 3 or 4 weeks that are just stacked up over there.
I was trying to look up. This might be our next cause. You know, there is no Quasar, any of the Quasars Marvel Funko. No Quasar Funko.
Come on, man.
I'm trying to look this up. Dr. Voodoo has a Funko. Come on.
Yeah, Quasar.
No offense if you love Dr. Voodoo, but I'm like, if Dr. Voodoo has a Marvel Funko, then Quasar should have a Marvel Funko.
Exactly. Dr. Voodoo has not had a 60-issue series.
I don't care if you
And-
have to justify it by doing one of those, like, 3 packs, 5 packs. I mean, you throw them in there with like either Marvel or Genus Vell or Monica
exactly.
Rambeau or Carol Danvers. Just do it.
hmm Yep. I'll buy it. I'll definitely buy it.
I mean, we got 5. I mean, I know he's a household name now, but we've got like a 5 pack of like Steve Rogers and different Captain America costumes. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
It's been, and I had forgotten. Well, do you want to start talking about this?
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
And especially, we don't have any synopses for these. I mean, I'll do the credits and stuff, but
One of these Guy Gardner issues. Sorry.
oh, yeah, I didn't know how much banter we should do before we started these. All right, yeah, because tonight, kids. I mean, it's one story, but it begins in the first. There's a 3-issue Starmasters limited series, and then it jumps to Cosmic Powers Unlimited, number 4 and 5.
Exactly. So 5 total issues, and it's
2 different writers.
2 different writers. Let's take note of the dates because if any of these crossed over into 96, that would be, Mark Gruenwald died in 96, unfortunately. So,
Yeah, that was going to be my thing. Do you think maybe either, I don't know, would this miniseries a bit longer, or did something? Did we get a second writer because do you think Gruenwald got sick maybe, and that's why he didn't finish the story?
I don't, from everything that I've read, I don't think he got sick. I think it was just really sudden and,
Okay.
but, Marvel was going through a bankruptcy,
Yeah.
and he talked
Sure.
about that at the end of the first issue. There's the, for lack of a better word, letter column without any letters, but there's some words from him about how this came to be and why it's so much, it's like 2 years after the final issue of Quasar, uh, of that series, and why it took so long to get this series approved and then reapproved and then reapproved and all that stuff. It's an interesting little read at the back of it.
Yeah, I mean, do you think? I mean, again, yeah, I guess the bankruptcy's coming, but I mean, just getting the go ahead. I mean, again, we love Quasar, but it's like even if you can't justify it with Quasar, I mean, isn't the Silver Surfer a perennial like favorite and stuff? I mean, Beta Ray Bill, people love Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, I mean, and he talks about that at the end there, because Marvel then decided that, well, the Surfer can't, headline his own book anymore. He doesn't have enough drawing power to, and I this kind of leads in, it would just be based on the timeline, a few years where kind of the Marvel Knights crew takes over. You have Quesada and Palmiotti, and everything gets this street level focus, and the cosmic side
Oh yeah,
basically goes away, for lack of a better term, and we don't get a relaunch of the cosmic side until Annihilation, right? Which is, I think, 2005, around the same time Green Lantern Rebirth. Plug. Sorry.
No, Will didn't write it. That's just his favorite story.
Yeah, that's right. Which I'll be reading the last week of the year. And I've decided the other thing that I'm going to do. So I'm going to start the year and end the year the same way. I'm always going to end the year with Rebirth. I think that's kind of an interesting metaphor for the end of an old year. And then I'm going to begin the new year with Cosmos and Collision.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say you're gonna read Rebirth both times. Okay, no, okay, yeah, no, yeah,
because those are probably two of the most important stories
Yeah.
to me personally. So, and it's been a couple of years. It may be
Probably since we covered it.
probably since we covered it here on the Quantum Zone that I read Cosmos in Collision. So it'll be nice to go back and see that. Because I compare anytime Quasar shows up, I compare it to the best Quasar, which is, from number 13
okay.
through number about
Journey in the
40. Yeah,
Oh,
13 through about 40. So that chunk right there is prime, and you've got great art by Mike Manley. You've got spectacular art by Greg Capullo on a huge chunk of those issues, and we've got we get an issue and a half of Steve Lytle, who's unfortunately no longer with us, and we've got some fill-ins by like Dave Hoover, who's also unfortunately not still with us, and that encompasses Cosmos Collision. It also does, a little crossover that nobody's ever heard of called Operation Galactic Storm.
Oh yeah. I mean, you get that new universe stuff. Yeah.
And you get the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh yeah. Thanos, another guy that's heard of. Yeah.
And then Infinity War, which gives us all the doppelgangers, and we get some pretty cool fights out of that, right?
Capullo basically gets to draw the whole Marvel universe. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's, that chunk. Now, that's not to say that the first 12 issues, the first 12 issues really set up Quasar, with Paul Ryan, who's unfortunately not with us anymore, as, kind of a standard Earth-based superhero. They're slowly kind of adding things. They really start kicking it into gear with, the Journeys into Mystery arc.
Yeah.
That 13, 14, 15, and 16. And then boom, we're off into Cosmos and Collision after that. So
I kind of like that we started that way because the first 12 issues, Gruenwald kind of introduces us to Wendell. I mean, again, Wendell has been around a little bit, but I mean, not really his own book like focused, and he really gets into the character and stuff. I mean, those first two issues are basically flashbacks.
Oh yeah, and I think you're right. I think that was the smart way to do it because set everything up. Build this, status quo, and then, boom, everything takes off, with 13, and we have, and so much of that stuff that's set up, we get to set up in number 2, because number 1 is a complete flashback. This is how he got the bands and all that, which is a great story, right? And then the second issue where he actually goes to Uranus.
Yes. Oh yes.
Sorry, I'm still 12 years old, right? And we get that set up with Death Urge and Eon and Protector of the Universe and all those things, which is really, those first two issues are so important. And then we get the establishment of kind of that cast and the status quo. We get an Avengers crossover, Acts of Vengeance, which is a pretty big Avengers crossover during this time. And he meets some different aliens because he's trying to do his job, which is protect the Earth, right?
Oh, that whole journey in the mystery it sounds like Gruenwald flexing his Marvel knowledge muscle. It's just like, look, remember this guy from like 20 years ago? This is where he's been on the Stranger's Hope world.
Yep, exactly. So many characters, and then what is it with number 9 or 10? I cannot remember the issue. We kind of get he and Makari teaming up, and then Makari's going to be a continual presence in the book until weird stuff happens because of Infinity War, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, remember the whole thing? Yeah, with he gets separated from Makari and her, and he really never comes back to Makari, because Makari goes off and does his own thing and stuff, and
yeah. And then, it's kind of all just ignored when Makari's back with the Eternals in, the later series by Neil Gaiman, and I think was it John Romita Jr.?
Maybe, I
I
think
think
so,
I
yeah.
think that was, yeah. Which is, and that's something interesting about this, in the first issue of Starmasters, he talks to Epoch,
Yes.
right? And as far as I can tell, that's really the last appearance of Epoch that I can remember. Because I don't believe she shows up during, the Avengers, Avengers Heroes Return Avengers by Kurt Busiek and, the
Yeah.
great George Perez, who's no longer with us as well.
Well, I mean Wendell does play a part in that story, but there's that cast is so big in that story where it's like you really
Mhm.
have to focus on him. Yeah, even the what is that? What is that Maximum Security and the whole thing with
Yeah.
Ego and stuff? Yeah, we don't see Epoch there, do we?
Nope, not really. And then we don't, and then the whole ego thing is kind of dealt with. I don't even know if it's actually dealt with. It's just kind of ignored, after that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that, something so integral to Quasar, that interface talking to Eon, and now talking to Epoch, after Cosmos and Collision is pretty much just gone. And, it hasn't been really brought back in 30 years. And, that leads us up, through Annihilation and then the death and the comeback. And then now he's switching places with someone who has bands as well, but she's died, but then she didn't. It's it's a really
Yeah,
it,
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's where we're at currently. After that Al Ewing Guardians of the Galaxy, I mean, I don't think
mhm.
as far as I know, there hasn't been any appearances of either of them,
Yeah,
or Avril. Yeah, no.
yeah. I haven't seen it either, so I'd like to read some Quasar stories.
Yeah,
You know,
or hell, let's get this man to write some. Come on, Marvel.
I would not say no to
Right, I would whisper in your ear constantly. Like,
that. I would not say no. But
I was gonna say I have I have like a small paragraph of like a synopsis of the whole story. So do you want to just do that and then we can talk this thing as a whole? Because
yeah, I think that sounds good.
okay. All right. So, the whole Star Masters. Let me see. Yeah. Mark Gruenwald and Scott Eaton are listed as the creators.
Hmm.
Yeah. Of course, Star Masters #1 is the first appearance of this team. Quasar was invited to attend a charter meeting. However, it's basically the Cosmic UN kids.
Yeah. Hmm.
However, when he arrived, he found their ship had been massacred and he was soon framed for the attack. Others were called in to apprehend him, but some of the others were convinced he was innocent. The Star Masters proved Quasar was innocent and agreed to act as a peacekeeping force for the charter. So yeah, it's like Grunwald wrote the 3 issues of Star Masters, but then after that, well, I'm trying to bring this up here.
Yeah. What was the date on Star Masters #1?
Let me see.
I should have.
Hold on, I just had it there. All right, Star Masters #1. Cover date is December 1995.
Oh, okay. So hang on. I think Grunwald died in like April or May of '96. Hang on
Oh,
a second, and I will check that.
so you're saying? Okay. Well, there we go. Well, hold on, let me see. When did Cosmic Powers Unlimited?
Oh wait, no, sorry, it was August 12th of '96, so it was a little bit later. So
Hmm.
so August 12th of '96.
Okay. Cosmic Powers #4's cover date was February 96.
Uh-huh.
So you said it was sudden. It was he didn't
No,
what ill for a while. Okay.
But I do think that things were happening behind the scenes at Marvel.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
especially
because of the the crash, Marvel's bankruptcy, everything else that was going on in '96, right?
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, the line was getting shrunk down and stuff. Yeah.
when did Heroes Return start? Or sorry, Heroes Reborn. Was that
Ah,
96 or
I
97?
let me see. Gonna go. Let me look this up here. Let's go to that most controversial of issues. When did Heroes Reborn Captain America #1 come out? No, no, not 1941.
Let's see. I will find it.
Hold on, here we go. It's saying the Heroes Reborn was 96 into 97. So, yeah. So this was, I mean, the end of this story. I mean, at least the Cosmic Powers episodes were probably like months before,
Yeah.
a few months before. So, yeah, that's because I think they were really trying to play up the the hero, in the regular Marvel universe. Everyone thinks the heroes are dead. Oh, what are we gonna do? Because
Yeah.
it's like we kind of sidelined like U.S. Agent and War Machine, and we killed off Thunderstrikes. It's like, yeah, we don't need it like other people just forming a new Avengers team. With these other people dead. So
Yeah, and they killed Wonder Man off, another perennial favorite
uh
of ours, during the launch of ForceWorks. So,
so I just wonder if they're just like, oh yeah, and all these cosmic types, they're just off in space. So
yeah, just whatever.
I mean, can you imagine if we just, Quasar came back to Earth and it's like thinks Captain America's dead and decides to like try to like form an Avengers team?
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Yes.
Except he couldn't come back to actually to set the stage. He could
I
not come back to Earth because, the presence was going to kill his family, blah blah blah, and then, it was. I'm glad that Kurt Busiek had actually addressed this.
Yeah.
Said, hey, yeah, he came back. He wasn't really dead. He was just in a coma. He came back. Everything's good. You don't have to. That was during, I think, right before maximum security, right?
I
So he
think so.
could be back on Earth, but then he couldn't because he had absorbed ego. So
Yeah. I was like, yeah, the whole presence thing. I mean, I don't know. That was such a downer of like the end of the
ending,
series. Yeah, it's just
yeah, it definitely was.
kind of having to flee Earth and stuff. I'm just like, if you wanted to, have him to just decide, oh yeah, to really protect the universe, I have to be out there. Maybe something like that. But just the presence, just
Yeah,
let's just dump him in the quantum zone again.
yeah. Rename him the Absence again.
Yes.
So that's where we are to set the stage. He's out setting up listening posts, which I don't think has ever been addressed again.
So I wonder if if not before, if all those just like disappeared when he died. Because he was separated from the bands too. So I mean, it was.
But once the bands create something, it stays created until
Does it? Okay.
he uncreates it. It's not like a Green Lantern ring plug.
Oh yeah.
Or they have to keep it willed into existence. Once he wills it into existence, it stays that way. So
Mhm.
I don't know. There's just so much story potential still in Quasar, and that original series to continue on a lot of things. But that's what we got. That's what we get with Starmasters. In the first issue at the back, Mark Gruenwald says that Star Blast didn't perform as well, and he says, "I do appreciate all 22 of you readers that read it. I appreciate all 22 of you. I was one of those." But
I mean, how could that story not have performed?
They aren't even attempting to enter our orifices.
exactly. he talks about a parade of artists coming through, because it was just this mishmash, of stuff. So I think he knew, why it didn't perform,
Yeah.
and which is why he wanted to launch Starmasters, this title. And he talks about it in that, in that back letter column
Mhm.
spot that, it was going to be 40 pages and then it was going to be uh, not 40 pages. Now it was 22 pages. And then, we had to rename them Star Fighters, but then we had to rename them back to Star Masters. And then, blah, it was until he finally got it. And, I think Scott Eaton's art has grown on me some,
Yeah.
but I, I think what bothers me most, although it's still, I don't think it really fits great with Quasar because it's a little bit sketchy in places, and Quasar is at its core a science fiction style title, right? And you need those really clean lines. So, I mean, I think the art's fine. I just think that it doesn't work as well as it could.
It, it,
And
it's like it's a product of its time in the 90s, definitely.
mhm. Yeah, and it's got kind of early image vibes to it with the way the characters are drawn, and that's never been what kind of Quasar was. Capullo wasn't a stereotypical image artist, right? He was
Yeah.
doing his own thing back then. And I think the other thing that bothers me the most though is the coloring. And I think the coloring is very much of its time because it's just I don't know, some of it just there's a lot of it that just doesn't seem to work for me. It just seems kind of garish a little bit. And maybe that's me, that's 30-year on me reading with all the advances in digital coloring and everything that we can do today
Well, I was gonna say,
versus
is this maybe early days of like as we're transferring to digital? It's
perhaps it could be. Yeah, it could be. So, I mean, but you can look back at those Capullo issues
oh
and
yeah,
the colors there, they just work,
yeah.
right? These just seem, I don't know, they just seem,
Well, again, those Capullo issues, I'm thinking they're still coloring by hand at that point. I'm thinking
yeah.
here around this era because other stuff I've read, I think this might be the starting point of they're starting to use more and more digital, for
Hmm.
pencils or colors and that. And I think they're still like discovering what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think too that this this reads so different. Well, sorry, let me back that up. The cosmic powers read differently to me from the
Greg,
Starmasters. Obviously, the different writer, I
yeah,
think, is that. But
Greg Wright is the the
yeah, and it just seems, I guess it seems wordier to me. I mean, I know Grunwald wasn't afraid of word balloons and
yeah.
captions and everything, but these just seem to have a lot more word balloons and captions for these issues than the Starmasters issues.
Yeah, and I wonder. I mean, we know Grunwald loved Quasar. It's just like, oh, hey, Quasar's back. I want to do so much with this.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you got to have Silver Surfer in here. You got to have Beta Ray Bill in here. Then you have to
Mm-hmm.
set up this whole intergalactic, conspiracy thing. So,
Yeah, I mean it's and you're introducing all these new characters.
yeah,
I I feel like a little slower roll. I mean, we jump right into this. Earth's about to be shattered by, I mean, boom, we're there. It's it's just so much so fast that it's hard. There's never really any breathing room where the characters kind of just be
yeah,
characters, right? Be themselves.
yeah,
And Wendell still reads as Wendell, which is obviously Grunwald is writing him, so of course he's going to, right? And I
exactly.
don't think, and I think Greg Wright, I think he does a really good Wendell as well.
Hmm.
But there's just so many characters and so much going on. Why are they fighting? Wait, he's stealing willpower. Hal Jordan's gonna have to have a word with him. Anyway,
Or your lawyers, yes.
Yeah. I don't. And
Yeah, and then it's also a weird thing too, like when Beta Ray Bill disappears at the end of 3 and stuff, because
yeah,
then something goes on, and I'm pretty sure I remember this from the 4 book. We were talking about, oh, he's almost dead and stuff. So when he comes back altered, it's like he kind of had to disappear and do his little thing in the 4
it was like
arc
four
and
issues
come
of
back.
Thor or something. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I didn't even read that. And then the Surfer did something to him that I don't think we ever really
Yeah,
discover why.
it almost seems like they were hinting around that. It's like, well, I think right before Onslaught and everything, like was it the Asgardians were like either losing their power, or like a bunch of them were just like dying off or something, because
Hmm.
again, Asgardian stuff was going weird. But so did they come out and say it, or it seemed like they were hinting around in those cosmic powers issues where it's like Beta Ray Bill may have lost, some of the power Odin gave him, and the
The
Surfer kind of
Surfer
substituted the power cosmic for it, or
Yeah, but and he said, you know, he did it for a reason, but we never learned the reason. And Odin was like, he
and he
just
gets
lied to him.
and he gets a
Yeah.
new hammer for some reason. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, which is super weird. We're at the end of 3, right? So it's a 3-issue miniseries.
yeah.
And now
Beta Ray Bill disappears.
I will say that I played Halo 2, when it came out, and I was up late, trying to, get through the story, playing, and they end Halo 2 on a cliffhanger, and I went, no! So the fact that they did this on a cliffhanger is very annoying. But at least it's continued fairly quickly. I think I don't know if it was the next month for that issue for Cosmic Powers number 4, but I don't think it was I don't think there was too much of a gap
Yeah, I
between
know. I
one and
don't think, from what I'm looking at, it's not. That's the thing. Like, I read these 3 issues, and it took me a while to hunt down, like years. It took me years to hunt down the Cosmic Powers Unlimited. So, I was like, no, what happened?
What the heck's going on
Like,
here?
wait a minute, I could bought the complete miniseries. Why didn't I not get a
Why
complete
didn't I get
story?
complete story? Exactly.
Is it just that there was too much involved, and then it's like, well, they weren't giving them more issues? What it's like, okay, we have this, I guess, cause. I'm guessing Cosmic Powers Unlimited was a quarterly book, because it looks like
Yeah,
4 was in February, and then I think it said 5 was May, so something
that
like
makes
that.
sense.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but they're like, oh yeah, we'll let you wrap this up in an issue or 2 of
Hmm.
Cosmic Powers Unlimited.
And the final issues of Cosmic Powers Unlimited, actually,
Oh
right?
yeah, the last 2, yeah. But then again, and then too, it's weird that it's like this story gets wrapped up by a different writer.
Yeah, yeah, which is, and then, as much as we love Quasar, in August of '96, not, 3 or 4 months after, this issue is, cover dated,
Mm-hmm.
Mark Gruenwald, has that heart attack and dies. So that's kind of a downer.
Yeah.
Sorry. The
I was
much missed Mark Gruenwald.
I was gonna say, if you're ever interested, I mean, I could try. We could try to reach out. I know Gregory Wright is still around, so we could always
Mhm.
maybe talk to him about what was going on behind the scenes on this or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I think that'd be a cool future Quantum Zone at some point.
Exactly. I mean, and again, I just anyone who worked closely with I wonder if he got input from Grunwald or.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean and I don't think I think it was an interesting idea for a team. I mean, I I think Tan Isle is cool. I ride Jellian. That's cool. Surfer, Beta Ray Bill. Although the changes, I'm going to go ahead and say it, the nonsensical changes to Beta Ray Bill were weird.
Well, again, I wonder if they're at the mercy of the Thor office, because I wonder if
Yeah,
since he did, his power came from the Asgardians, at least originally, and
yeah.
he originally, Walt Simonson created him in the Thor books. I wonder if the Thor office
Mhm.
had say
Probably
over
owned him.
anything over Beta Ray Bill. Yeah. So they
But
just
then they kill all of the remaining people, and I thought that seemed
his whole race. Yeah.
his whole right. He's the last one. I'm like, that seemed kind of pointless. Why do we need these last survivors of races? And the body count in this book, I was kind of shocked. Everybody on
Oh yeah, just
the
the
charter,
charter. Yeah.
that's 3 million, and then the world that gets nuked with the Planet Buster right at the beginning, and then the world that picks up their ambassador fast, which is why you should always wait. They die from the plague, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know things need to happen on a grander scale, but that seems like it was so much death that it stopped having any meaning, right? Just more and more and more. You just keep piling on,
Yeah. I thought I saw something somewhere that was saying, so, I don't know what story it was, but they kind of rolled back that, oh yeah, it wasn't quite, it wasn't 3 million that died on the charter, headquarters or whatever, but,
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, I'm just trying to see if I don't know. Gruenwald was editor on the, Cosmic Powers Unlimited, so I'm assuming Greg Wright had some,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that, I'm sure he was getting some feedback from Gruenwald. So again, it's just anyone who talked to the man, worked with the man, I'd be interested in talking to.
Exactly. It was.
Maybe maybe next year, kids. Maybe I'll reach out to Gregory Wright, see if he wants to give us a little of his time.
So let's so the first 3 issues I think worked fairly well. I think I don't know. There's I feel like if you have a team that has the Surfer and Quasar and Beta Ray Bill, then them getting taken out by these no-name characters,
Yeah.
seems a little off. I understand. You want to have drama, and they need to lose so they can come back and win. But to lose to this heretofore completely unheard of race and these warriors from this race, I thought was a little weird.
Yeah, you need like a more cosmic type, some kind of cosmic menace. Because again, I mean, all 3 of them pretty powerful in their own right. So
Mhm,
it's gonna be
mhm.
something to.
And this, of course, is where we get Tan Isle in, I believe it's issue 5, where what's his name? Voltan?
Oh, are you talking about the scroll?
No, the Votan, the leader of the Axiton.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's stolen everybody's will, and Tan Isle says, "Well, the strongest will here is Quasar, not the Surfer, not any of us, but Quasar." I'm like, okay, cool. I thought that was a neat little, because it takes willpower to manipulate the bands, right? To make them do what he wants them to do.
Exactly.
So I thought that was a nice little touch.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I'm always for like, yes, he's the best.
He's the best at something.
Yeah, this whole thing. Yeah, what did you think about those 2 new? Basically besides Tan and Al, but those other 2, like the other woman, and then the captain who turns out to be a Skrull.
hmm And I kind of liked him because he was this honorable scroll that was like, I'm trying to keep people from dying. Not the
Mhm.
not the archetypical scroll we've come to see in the last few decades, right? They can't be trusted. They're evil. Blah blah blah.
Oh, it's the captain is a Morphex, and then the woman is
Mhm.
Zenith or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. hmm
Which I'm like, I mean, how do you feel? It's like, we basically created new characters for this team, which again, it's Gruenwald characters, so cool. But it's like,
hmm
I mean, if you want a woman on this team, wouldn't you? I mean, there's enough. I mean, well, why don't we bring back her or
Yeah. I mean, go with some, instead of,
somebody we know?
yeah, which is, I think that's weird it's weird for Grunwald, but kind of not weird. I mean, if you look at
Yeah,
Starblast was, I feel like Starblast was kind of a dry run for this.
yeah.
And because the characters that they chose for Starblast, Black Bolt, he chose
Uh,
all exist, he chose
yeah.
all existing characters for that. And I don't think that was the reason that Starblast ultimately failed, as a story. Um, I don't think it was the characters that were chosen. I think it was, more to do with the art and the editorial. Just, I mean,
Again, it's like why should the audience care when it seems like some of the creative teams were just like didn't it's like what part is this? Who cares what part it is?
who cares? Just throw another number on it. Yeah. I mean, it was, yes, for those out there wondering, there are 2 issues of Star Blast that have the same crossover number on them, and one that doesn't. And
There's a
we
few,
talked,
yeah. It's yeah,
we went, if you want to
yes.
dive deeper into that, check the playlist. We talk about Star Blast
Yes,
for,
on the Capes and Lunatics YouTube channel, there is a playlist. Yes, so for every Quantum Zone episode, this one will be included. But yeah, we did Star Blast. Oh God, issue by issue, and yeah, it was hard to figure out any kind of coherent order for that thing.
yeah, it was.
And again,
And
too, it was like it was the space stuff with Quasar, and then the Fantastic Four and Namor were basically in the ocean on
Earth,
Earth.
yeah. So yeah, it was. I think that, so this is completely conjecture on my part, okay? But this is my theory. I think the writing was on the wall for Quasar,
Yeah.
before Star Blast, and I think Star Blast was an attempt by Grunwald with not nearly the amount of push and support that it needed from Marvel to actually succeed.
Hmm.
Because we got so many different artists, and they were all good artists in their own right, but they were not a good fit for Quasar and what was going on in the series.
Hmm. Do you think
So I think,
they were they trying to set up? Oh, hey, we're gonna spin out a team book for Quasar out of this, and like none of the characters
yeah,
kind of like fit. So like, okay, but when we get to Starmasters, it's like, okay, we're gonna have to pull out the big guns. Silver, who's more
yeah,
cosmic, who's known
that,
more
that,
cosmic in Marvel than Silver Surfer. We're gonna pull
yeah,
out Silver Surfer.
I kind of think that's what they were doing. We're gonna, Grunwald was like, I'm gonna try to create a team.
Yeah,
And he had Black Bolt, he had Captain Marvel, Monica,
yeah.
Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau. He had some of the Soviet super soldiers.
Hmm.
Perun, I think. He had Dark Star and, was it Vanguard?
I think so.
Is that his name? Yeah, because he's the one that dies,
Yeah.
right? Quote unquote dies. And did he have Binary too?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's been so long since I've read Star Blast, but I think Grunwald, that was kind of the first run at taking a team and spinning a book out of Quasar, because I really do think the writing was on the wall for Quasar.
Hmm.
Post number 50, I think, it was just, he knew it, so he was trying to figure out a way to land Quasar where he could still write Quasar, and to do that, with a team. And when the Star Blasts, because I think the initial name of the team was going to be Star Blasters, maybe, I don't know. Um, when that rather spectacularly failed, and then the series was canceled, I think he kind of still took that idea and said, look, Quasar may not be able to support a book on his own, which at the time, I'm sure he was right, but
Mhm.
I still think Quasar can support his own book. I believe, right? I'm a believer. But he took, what he could. He got the Surfer, he got Beta Ray Bill, which are fairly popular characters. Put them in a book with Quasar, but then I think he overcorrected some, right? And
Mhm.
instead of adding a few characters that maybe we already knew, we got this huge explosion. We have all the bad guy characters, we have all the new bad guy characters, we have all the new good guy characters, and then even more characters that are kind of good but kind of bad, and then this whole new race and a whole new villain and a whole new. I mean, there was so much introduced there that I don't know. I think
Do you think he knew he had to show results right away? So it couldn't be like the Quasar book. He couldn't start off slow. It's like, okay, we have to have this big threat now, right away, and we really got to get to the action, and we gotta get these characters in here now. For first issue, by the end of the first issue, Quasar, Silver Surfer, and Beta Ray Bill are teamed up.
yeah, I mean maybe because it does start off with a bang. I
Hmm.
mean, literally that whole planet gets exploded.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
I I think it was a bit overcorrection, and honestly too, this is I don't know.
And again, 95, 96. I don't think they as the bubbles bursting, and I don't
Yeah,
think they're giving books the amount of time that they usually gave them. So you probably had to show numbers pretty quickly.
yeah. Well, and I think too that at this point, maybe Grunwald was doing a lot of non-writing stuff because I,
Well,
I
yeah.
feel like his work suffered some at this time. I mean, you look at Cap Wolf, okay.
How dare you?
I know, but I don't think he was, at least in my opinion, and I am a huge fan of Mark Gruenwald's
Oh,
work.
me
He
too.
has a tremendous body of work, but I think, as the 90s wore on, I think some of his work suffered, and I don't know why that is, but it just seems that way to me. And maybe it was other stuff going on at Marvel, maybe it was he couldn't give it the attention that it deserved at that point. I mean, I have no clue, but I do feel like the latter, the last year or two on Cap was not, his best work, right? The last year, last, 2 years, last year and a half on Quasar, not necessarily his best work, right?
Hmm.
Um, which is, from a reader standpoint, you know, kind of disappointing because it was so good. It was so good, and his Captain America,
Oh, yeah.
that a 10-year run. Now, how, okay, only 8 of those years are great, right? So, it's I don't know what the commonality is there, except at the time it just seemed like his work was not up to the standards of what it had been previously. And I again, I don't know why that is.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, I'd forgotten. For some reason, I thought he had some kind of illness, but yeah, I forgot about the heart attack. Because yeah, it said he had the unsuspected congenital heart defect. Yeah.
I mean, it's
And not to make this all about me, but all of a sudden I feel old because I see he died at age 43, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm over 43. I'm like, I'm older than
I'm
Greenwood was when he died. Oh my lord.
I
Well, yeah, I
me
know
too.
you, Grandpappy. I know, yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. He left a huge legacy of work, which is great.
oh
But
yeah,
I will sometimes think, what awesome stuff did we never get to see? What else was going to happen with Quasar? What else was maybe he would come back and Quasar would have been relaunched in a few years, or maybe he would have come back to Captain America during some
late
a
late
later time.
90s, early 2000s. I could have seen him relaunch in
Yeah.
Quasar. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah. That's my other thing. I'm like, yeah, that's probably why Wendell didn't get the treatment he deserved for the longest time, because Grunwald was gone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was really the only champion of the book, you know. Um, and it's amazing that he got 60 issues out of it. I mean, that's 5 years.
Mhm.
5 years, that's an impressive run on a book by any standards. And then, he did 10 years on Captain America. And, there's this little thing called Project Pegasus Saga,
Oh,
there's
Volume 2 and 1,
I mean,
yeah.
so much stuff playing with the Marvel universe. And that's what it is, I guess. But you're right. It makes me feel old sometimes.
Yeah, one
But
of these
this,
days we're just gonna have to do a Grunwald issue, or an
Mhm.
episode. Although
Yeah.
I feel like that's all the Quantum Zone was, but yeah. Uh,
So let's talk about the ending.
yes.
So tell me give me your thoughts, because I have some thoughts that I'm still kind of trying to crystallize, I think.
I mean, of course they're gonna leave it open for for future stuff, but then nothing materializes from it. I don't know, just I don't know. Give me your thoughts, because I'm like conflicted about this thing.
Well, we got a heroic death right at the end,
Well, yeah.
or close to the end, lots of fighting. I I really I really feel like I really feel like in issue 3, where hey, here are the Starmasters, they're introduced, and I'm like, okay, that it seems so rushed, right? We never we went from here to there just like that, and then this battle with Votan, and how he's sapping willpower, and the other planet attacking them. They're just it seems kind of muddled to me,
Yeah.
right? And they come up with excuses why, hey, Wendell's vulnerable because the dude was messing with his willpower. But I don't know. I feel like part of it is, we don't see the Surfer, struggling, right? We don't see Beta Ray Bill struggling, and it's nobody else really does either. It's and Wendell is obviously the focus of the book, right, as the leader.
Well,
So I I mean, he defeats his brother. Um, and we get, let's see, Beta Ray Bill, threatens him and decides not to kill him, because that's not what heroes do, right?
I
We
mean,
had we had the Red Hulk, excuse me, we had that red alien.
I was gonna say, if for nothing else, I mean, yeah, the story isn't the best, but I mean, like the Star Masters issues, is that? I mean, is that Grunwald's final story with Wendell?
I think so. I really do. And it
I mean, at least it's a better than the regular series with him like fleeing Earth. I mean, so
Yeah.
better than that.
hmm
At least he's out here doing something. Which we do mention it. We actually do see his mom and his sister. For
Just a little bit, yeah.
in the Starmasters issues. Yeah. Oh no!
Well, we
Oh
get,
yeah! Oh no! They were in Cosmic Powers too, weren't they? At the end, where the mom's like, "Oh, Wendell did it," and the sister's like, "Yeah, sure, sure."
hmm and he had left her, the call me anytime bubble, which that's I. It wraps up so quickly. I mean, it's like
And again,
this.
yeah, we couldn't focus on Wendell because there were so many
Mhm.
characters. Which I get it, but
Well, and it's much like the headlong pace of this is, hey, it starts fast and then it ends, in just a couple of pages,
mhm.
right? Um, I don't know. It was not what I was hoping for, but it was better than nothing, right?
Yeah,
And is it just me? But I think the art seems more rushed in the Cosmic Powers issues because it seems sketchier than it does in Star Masters 1, 2, and 3.
yeah. I mean, I could see that. Yeah, I'm trying to.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
that's just kind of my thoughts. It's
I mean, and I get that we want everyone to do something, but like even in the Star Masters issues, like when they're trying to keep that what is it that reforming asteroid from like hitting Earth and stuff.
hmm
Or was it something else where like at one point, oh well, Quasar was like, I do this, and Beta Ray Bill has to open a portal with his hammer or whatever. I'm like, can't you just quantum jump and open a portal yourself?
exactly, and just put it in the quantum zone.
But it's just like I guess we wanted something for everyone to do.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like that's like again, it's kind of a failure of the series itself because the villain, I don't think was, he there's there's no dimensionality to this villain. He's just bad, right?
Yeah.
He's just and the heroes, the Surfer, Beta Ray Bill, and Quasar. These are three of the most powerful, characters, in Marvel Cosmic, right?
Hmm.
And to have them have to perform at much lower levels to not easily deal with a threat is kind of annoying.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, any other comic, if one of these characters, if it was just, the Surfer or Quasar or
hmm
even Beta Ray Bill, they could probably handle this themselves.
hmm Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah, I think we needed a bigger level cosmic threat. Like, oh, hey, Thanos has assembled all the Infinity Stones, or
or heck, Galactus has got a new herald.
you
Um,
have an excuse to use Galactus. The Silver Surfer's here,
exactly. You could use Hela or Loki, because you have an Asgardian connection,
or any of those
right?
abstract entities. I mean, Gruenwald
Yeah.
came up with the dimension of manifestations. You could have did anything
Mhm.
with any of those. Them.
Yeah, the Elders of the Universe. They're connected to the Infinity Gems, which is, connected to cosmic level stuff. It's
Do
that
some of the Elders of the Universe. You can bring Makari in.
yeah, I mean, I think you just crystallized one of the reasons why I don't think I like this, is
Uh,
because it's very un-Grunwaldian.
yeah,
He's not using the existing pieces of the Marvel universe to help tell this story. This is just kind of all it's, three characters with a whole bunch of new characters thrown in and stuff happens.
it just seems like another writer doing a '90s story.
It does. It really does. So,
Again, why wasn't
yeah.
Makari part of this team? But yeah, again, yeah, just I think the body count was high, but it's like the villains were just generic, and yeah, again, not I don't think worthy enough of this assemblage of at least these three.
Hmm. Yeah, it really wasn't. I remembered so little of this story, and it was just kind of forgettable, unfortunately. Um, I will take the win for Quasar having the strongest willpower. Yeah,
Yes.
but
I'm trying to remember because, like, I don't know if it's just because I haven't read a lot of Quasar lately, but I'm just like, it held my attention this time. But I think the first time I read this, I thought it was kind of boring.
yeah, because there was really nothing to hook it. It was just so fast, right? I
And
mean,
again, and
and
again, I was so like, oh great, we see what Wendell's doing after the ongoing series. But I think I was just like, no, no, stay with Wendell. I mean, I love the Silver Surfer, but it's just like, I want more Wendell.
exactly, yeah. I mean, I was a long time reader of the Silver Surfer book,
Yeah.
um, when it was coming out, from back in the 80s. But yeah, this is going out with a whimper, not with a bang.
Yeah.
And even it is a higher note, I think, at least more positive for
Yeah.
Quasar
Then the end of
than the end of
last
the
issue.
regular series. I think, and I don't know this again. This is supposition on my part, but I think the end of the Quasar series hit Grunwald pretty hard, which is why it is such kind of. I think
Oh
it
yeah,
affected him. I
he
think
was
it
down.
really did. Yeah, it really did affect him, and I think we see that in that final story. The Quasar was ending, and it was something that it was. I mean, it was his dream book, right? That's his character that he put so much of himself into. So,
I mean, should that have been the end of issue 60s? Wendell's leaving Earth, and all of a sudden he sees the Silver Surfer, and he's like, "I need your help," or something. Something.
something, but yeah, we got nothing. Just off into the, yeah. I'm gonna pretend to be
I have
dead
to, I
now.
have to, I have to flee Earth as quickly as I can, so the presence doesn't know I'm alive. Yeah.
Exactly. So, um, there's just so it's been so long since Quasar's been a regular character in a book. I mean, that
Mhm.
was one of the things. Hated the fact that he was killed in Annihilation, right, for no reason, and
Yeah.
also the cosmic control rod isn't part of from an engine of a spaceship is more powerful than the quantum bands. I'm not dying that, okay, but whatever. He died ish, um, and it was then a supporting character in the Nova book. Finally got the bands back and his body back, and you know, great. We're back to a point, and then nothing, right? We're
Yeah. Then we
but
did the whole Avengers standoff thing where basically he gives the bands to Avril, and it's like, wait a minute, how'd you get those bands off? Because I don't know if they
they
ever
d-
explain that. Yeah.
they don't, yeah, they don't come off.
And then Al Ewing picks them up, and both of them up in Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's like, oh, hey, we both have quantum bands, and we can swap out like Marvel used to do. It's like, wait, what?
How did that happen? What the heck?
Again, if they would have given us an explanation, but there was no explanation, and now no one's been doing anything with either of them.
Hmm. I know it's disappointing. There's because that kind of universal archaeology, for lack of a better term, that Grunwald was able to do. It seems so effortless for him. To,
Yeah.
hey, I'm going to have this. I'm going to tell this story, and guess what? It's part of a tangent from another story. And I think of the guys that were writing, the journeyman writers like Stern and Busiek and Michelini, I can never pronounce his name, and Grunwald. You know, those guys, they made the Marvel universe feel like a universe, a
Yeah.
place, because it was all, just little bits of interconnectedness. It didn't have to be full-blown crossovers, but I don't feel like we get a lot of that anymore. It's
No.
Yeah, but Get off my lawn.
Well, like I said, back in the day, a lot of writers, especially like characters like, Spider-Man or Superman or somebody else who had like 3 to 4 monthly books at a time, like the teams would get together and like plot out the year and stuff.
Yeah.
And again, it's so great that we get such a pool of talent now with technology, and you can have teams from all over the world, but it's like I don't think they're sitting in the same room anymore.
Yeah. Or I mean, heck, why not just get them together on, hey, let's talk about what we want to do. This sounds cool. It sounds cool. But, I don't know. It's
Well, again, too, they have the big event after big event anymore. So it's basically like, okay, how do you fit into so and so's big event? Is pretty much what it comes down to anymore.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like that's a failure of editorial. I really do.
Yeah.
But that's where we are. I mean, and we ended up with this.
Yes. All right. Well, anything else, William?
I don't have anything else.
And again, I wish Matt had been able to join us. I'm thinking we're gonna have to we're gonna have to cover and we're gonna have to do an episode and cover Wendell's appearances in Dazzler to get Conan back here. So I think it's gonna take the Dazzler book or something to get Conan back.
Maybe.
Disco, Matt. Damn it, I'm in. All right, but yeah, what do you guys want to hear us cover next time we do? I don't know when we'll do this, but again, it'll be 2024 at least. So send us your thoughts, Ray. Remember when you used to send us weekly feedback, Ray? Addicted to the Marvel Snap, Ray.
What the F?
All right. So yeah, send us your thoughts on this story. Send us your suggestions for what to cover next when we do come back to the Quasar and the Quantum Zone. So
and this is the last appearance of the Starmaster. I mean, I don't think the Starmasters have ever appeared again. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking through it again and like this.
Yep.
What happened after this? There's nothing.
They decided to call it quits. All right. So yeah, kids, send us all the thoughts, whatever. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And you can find all the Capes and Lunatics episodes. We cover a bunch of Marvel stuff here and DC stuff. Episodes, social media, merchandise, the Patreon. You never know what you're going to find there. And of course, there's just the Cash App link if you just want to drop random money for on us because, yes, like Will said, we are recording on December 8th. Yes, so it is Lilith Hellfire's birthday. So if you want to send her any late birthday presents or Christmas, just we always accept money, kids. Help us keep the ship afloat. So find everything at tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. All right, kids. So this Mr. Will Allred, this master of the Quantum Zone, master of the Green Lantern Corps. Yes, not only is he podcast with me all the time, but he also writes his own comics, which you can find on Kickstarter. So William, tell them about these fabulous books.
You can find me at Walred, that's at WALLRED, at Gmail and Facebook and Blue Sky and Twitter. I refuse to call it X, although I don't know how much longer I'll stick around on X. But lots of other places that I probably forgot I even set up. So if you want to reach out, please feel free to reach out. If you'd like to check out, as Phil mentioned earlier, some of the comics that I write, Crossover Division, thank you, sir, is we've done 4 issues on Kickstarter and an oversized hardcover that'll be coming to backers soon. Number 5 will be launched in January, so feel free to check that out. If you want to check out Diary of Night, you can do that at diaryofnight.com. And hang out with Phil here and on this little podcast we do called Sector 2814, which is the Green Lantern podcast.
Yes, we go in order. Yes, and we're about to hit Blackest Night, kids, in January. So
And that's just a little short story. It's only going to take us about 3 months to get through it, right, Phil?
Yeah, kids, because we're going to cover every single issue, tie-ins, miniseries, all of it. So
The zombie issues, yeah.
yes. Oh, and yes, and then yeah, almost forgot. Kids, send us feedback for episodes of Sector 214, and you may win a Green Lantern prize pack.
That's right, absolutely. So yeah, check us out at Sector 2814. We are rapidly approaching a number that will eclipse the number of episodes we've done of the Quantum Zone.
Yes, this is 155 of the Quantum Zone. Yes, and we'll hit that probably by February on Sector 2814. So yes, kids.
Yep.
All right. So
I'll put it in my navel.
Hey, boys, you look at the party? I love the party.
most of these drops came from the Quantum
To
Zone.
the Quantum Zone.
I'll put it in my navel.
Contemplator.
Hey, boys, you look at the party? I love the party.
He goes limp in my grip.
Because let's if you haven't listened to the Quantum Zone, you must go to YouTube and again start listening to the playlist, because again, the two of us, Matt Kona adding his greatness to it. And again, most of those, when we covered one issue an episode, we did live reads, kids. That's how I got all this fabulous audio
Drops.
from Mr. Will Allred. We did live reads.
I hope it's going somewhere nice. They aren't even attempting to enter our orifices.
There's the Star Blast.
Thank
The
you,
best
Tom
thing
DeFalco.
the best thing to come out of Star Blast.
They aren't even attempting to enter our orifices. I am God. Seems like I'm getting a package every other day.
And of course, yes, I know it's Quasar, but
I, of course, love Hal Jordan.
I, of course, love Quasar. How about that?
there you go. I, of course, love Wendell. Yeah.
I do.
All right. All right, kids. Thank you for joining us. So yes, send us some suggestions what you'd like to see us cover next time we do this. And every once in a blue moon, we also do the Wonder Cast.
That's right.
All about Wonder Man with Justin, the Owl, and of course, yes, Ray when he can get off the Marvel Snap. I said I want to do that. Needs to be one of the early episodes for next year. I want to do a intervention with Ray.
That's right. I remember that.
On the Marvel Snap, kid. So yeah, we love our Avengers here, kids.
We do.
Quasar, Wonder Man. So yes, and this Quasar suggestions or Wonder Man suggestions. All right, kids. Come back next time, whatever that'll be. All right. But until then, keep your friends close and your 90s enemies even closer. Good night.